right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A winter weather advisory is in place for most of our area through Monday evening. What freezing rain is expected to do to your Monday morning, and when we'll see temperatures finally go above freezing, mitigating all threats.
Plan of attack.
Travelers can expect hazardous road conditions.
The effort's underway right now to keep the highways and roads safe. Tonight, 2 people saved from their burning home. The firefighter who was in the right place at the right time. We start tonight in a weather alert. Right now, a line of freezing rain is moving towards the St. Louis region. By morning, it will likely leave a layer of ice on your cars, driveways, and the roads. Let's get straight over to Weather First meteorologist Gary Frank with the latest. Gary.
Yeah, good evening. You know, of course, we're kind of used to dealing with snow, but when we get to the ice, that's when it's a little bit different. As at the moment, it's dry. And I want to keep you in mind right now as the roads are dry and you still see kind of a sheen on them, but it's not really doing much right now. It's going to stay dry for the next few hours as our temperatures are still below freezing. We've dropped below freezing into the upper 20s for the most part. They're going to stay pretty steady, but when we zoom out as a whole, you can start to see where a degree or two warmer air is settling in. That's part of this air mass, which is delivering a lot of very heavy freezing rain into the Oklahoma City area. The areas on 35 south from Wichita to Oklahoma City are a skating rink at the moment. Now, as we look closer to home, this is the most recent thing. We start to see the Springfield area. There's an ice storm warning. We're not involved in anything like that right now. We are in a winter weather advisory. The Missouri side at 6 o'clock. It's from 3 a.m. to 6 o'clock in the Metro East. This carries a little longer. This is going to last a little bit longer for you as temperatures are below freezing here in St. Louis. It's dry as we look downtown. It's 29, but we have a strong breeze out of the south-southeast that's going to keep us on the warmer side. Really, as freezing rain moves in over the next few hours, we'll see that light glaze of ice start to form on your car or the roads in the morning. And as that continues, that's where we're going to have to watch out for specifically. The morning commute looks to be impacted. I don't expect that we'll see any of this start till about 2 o'clock. And that's what we'll look at here in just a few minutes. The timing of this, how much we can expect, and when we'll finally see the temperature go above freezing.
And remember, you can get the latest Weather First forecast right to your phone. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355. The icy forecast is already leading to several closings and delays. Dozens of schools have already decided to close or switch to remote learning tomorrow. The Gateway Arch will not open until 11 a.m. The St. Louis Zoo will be closed tomorrow. So will St. Louis County Courts. We have a full list of closings running at the bottom of your screen and on KSDK.com. MoDOT and IDOT are gearing up once again to hit the pavement with salt and brine as freezing rain makes its way into the metro. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski is live near I-64 as officials are urging anyone who can to stay home tomorrow. Laura.
Yes, Mike, both MoDOT and IDOT are going to do their best if you absolutely have to drive to work or to school to make sure that you get there, but they want everybody to take it as slow as possible. MoDOT engineers say crews started preparing for icy conditions early on Sunday.
We're going to make sure we get around, get a treatment ahead of this, and stay ahead of this as best we can, because that's our biggest concern right now are the rates of this precip that's going to come down and the length of time it's going to come down. So if either one of those are too long, could wash our material off the roadway and cause some issues.
They'll be working 12-hour shifts to deal with the freezing rain and are especially concerned about bridges, overpasses, and ramps.
We do focus efforts on interstates, major routes, and then work down to the lettered and state numbered routes from there.
IDOT engineer Joe Monroe says they loaded up their trucks at the end of the week and are ready to station trucks along assigned routes where they'll watch for ice forming on road signs to signal them to go in with more treatment.
This is one time where some of the holes in our coverage from staffing, we have to be very particular on when we start and how we attack the storm. Like I said, fortunately, if anyone's been out today, you can see just how much salt's on the pavement already. So
if you have to drive through icy conditions, the Missouri State Highway Patrol says take it slow, avoid using cruise control, and allow for plenty of room to stop and turn.
Have an extra coat, a hat, gloves, maybe another blanket with you in case something happens, you find yourself stranded and you don't have a heat source. Make sure you have maybe a phone charger to keep that phone charged so you can call for help.
The Highway Patrol says that if you do get stranded, they want you to know their response times could be a little bit longer and ask that you call 911 or star 55 for help as soon as possible and then wait in your car for help to arrive. Reporting live from St. Louis, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
The Today in St. Louis team will have the latest forecast and road conditions beginning at 4 a.m. You can watch on air or stream all of our newscasts on 5+. It's free to download on Roku, Fire, and Apple TV. Just search for KSDK in the App Store. Tonight, residents of Heritage House Apartments are being told they need to move out of their temporary housing. They were forced out of their Midtown apartments last Sunday after burst pipes flooded multiple floors. The building manager paid for some of the residents to stay at the Ballpark Hilton, but they're being told they'll have to move again.
We are exhausted. We're exhausted. So we've been reaching out to people, anyone that will listen, who can give us answers of what we can do.
We've reached out to the managing group Sansone for a response. We have not heard back. One man is dead after a crash in North St. Louis County. Investigators say a Ford F-250 collided with a Toyota Corolla in the intersection of New Halls Ferry and Dunn Roads around 8:30 this morning. The man driving the Toyota died at the hospital. The driver of the truck was not seriously hurt. Tonight, 2 people are alive after being pulled from a burning home in St. Charles. An off-duty firefighter and police officer came to their rescue early this morning on Santa Barbara Street. New tonight, 5 on your side's Annie Kroll talked with fire officials about the heroism of these first responders. Annie.
Well, that off-duty firefighter, Kevin Drury, was on his way to his St. Charles fire station when he heard the call about a nearby mobile home on fire. Arriving at about 6:36 this morning, just minutes before 20 to 30 firefighters came as well. Fire Captain Kelly Hunsel said that extra lead time saved the lives of the 2 people trapped inside.
Smell of smoke still in the air as fire-damaged furniture, boxes, and other items litter the ground outside a mobile home on Santa Barbara Drive.
We had heavy fire conditions, or I should say heavy smoke conditions when we arrived.
The cause of the fire still unknown. Fire crews say it was a hoarding situation, making it even more challenging to get to 2 people trapped inside early Sunday morning.
Folks don't realize that makes it just as difficult for them to get out and get to safety. So, we especially want to remind our residents that you should have 2 ways out of your home. You should know 2 ways out.
One of the neighbors said he was at work nearby when it all happened, getting a message from his concerned sister.
She texted me and said, asked me if I was okay, that there was fire by me. I said, well, first I heard about it. I said, maybe it was on the other side of the park.
It wasn't. Just across the street, off-duty St. Charles firefighter and paramedic Kevin Drury entered the home filled with thick smoke, calling out to victims. He was able to drag one of them out. On-duty crews arrived minutes later, helping him pull out the second person trapped inside. Both were taken to Mercy Hospital to be treated for smoke inhalation. Firefighter Drury was treated at St. Joseph Health Center, but has been released and is home.
I mean, what Kevin and those police officers did was nothing short of heroic. And quite honestly, even though we were there so quickly on their heels, without them being there and doing what they did, this would be a very different story.
Now, the St. Charles fire captain said she wasn't sure if there were working smoke detectors in that home. She asked people to make sure your smoke detector is operational, plus to keep anything flammable away from space heaters and not plugged into extension cords. Mike?
Annie, thanks. A big shakeup tonight in the Republican presidential primary race. It's now just a 2-person race as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis made a surprising announcement just 2 days ahead of the New Hampshire primary.
I am today suspending my campaign. I'm proud to have delivered on 100% of my promises, and I will not stop now. It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance.
DeSantis came in second in the Iowa caucuses behind former President Trump. He was polling in a distant third in New Hampshire behind Trump and former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. Tonight, both praised DeSantis for running a good campaign while taking swipes at each other and President Biden.
Look forward to working with Ron and everybody else to defeat crooked Joe Biden. We will have to get him out. As you know, here in New Hampshire, Nikki Haley has made an unholy alliance with rhinos, never Trumpers.
I'm going to finish this so Joe Biden and Donald Trump are not an issue at all, that we actually put them in the past and we go forward, because our country deserves it and Americans want it. They're tired.
A new University of New Hampshire poll shows Trump holds a 50% lead to Haley's 39% in that state.
She returned to her North City roots to make a difference.
She is truly a beacon of light for a community of people who have a lot of obstacles.
How one woman's goodwill has inspired compassion throughout the community. Rocky roads. Tonight we're helping you navigate pothole season.
It's unavoidable, it's inevitable.
How you can help keep the streets smooth.
Just after 1 o'clock, I expect freezing rain to settle in as temperatures well below freezing at this point. Why just a few degrees are going to matter throughout the day on Monday, and when the heaviest of the freezing rain is expected to fall.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
Now to our segment that puts positive news on the news. A local woman's dedication is changing the narrative for her neighbors in need. As you'll learn in tonight's Making a Difference report, her acts of kindness have become contagious.
Buchanan Foundation, may I help you?
From this small house in the Baden neighborhood, hardship meets hope.
They look like your size scene. That's waterproof.
This is headquarters for the Buchanan Foundation, where Rosemary Ray kindles a flame of compassion.
She is truly a beacon of light for a community of people who have a lot of obstacles.
You just stay right here. You're safe.
Ray is a 62-year-old nurse who spent 25 years at home health care.
Look at that. You like that?
Until she was drawn back to familiar turf.
I moved back to the Baden area after being gone for maybe about 15 years and discovered that they were in need of dire help.
Some nonprofits tackle housing. Others try to alleviate hunger.
They want you to just come, okay? Just come as you are.
But Rosemary's focus is on all that and more.
I'm excited.
Just ask one of the people she supports.
Wow. Hats, coats, gloves, food in the mornings when I'm hungry.
Some of them are homeless, and they live in...
Take your time.
Oh boy. In garages. The back of my old house across the street where they build a bonfire, you know.
And now Rosemary has a new ally.
Oh, here comes Brittany.
Just before Christmas, St. Louis and Brittany Sullivan was browsing KSDK.com when she read about the Buchanan Foundation's toy drive.
When I read that there was children in our community who would not be experiencing the magic that so many other kids feel every year, I felt it deep in my soul and I wanted to help. Rose, how cute is this?
So this mother of two who lives 20 minutes and a world away
I love those little bubbles.
became a force that would amplify the magic of giving. She put out a call for help on social media, and the response was overwhelming.
While I was out of town, people started dropping off toys at my sister's house. People who we didn't know were sending in money, and it was wonderful. And in the end, we raised, I think, close to $15,000 in cash and brand new toys.
A few days later, Brittany met Rosemary for the first time when she arrived with a van full of donations.
Hi, Rose.
I had an angel that just dropped down from heaven, and she said, "We're here to help." And she did exactly that. She's a sweetheart.
And because Rosemary's passion is so contagious, Brittany isn't just a one-time supporter. She's become a steadfast partner in Rosemary's ongoing journey.
When you see someone who pours their heart and gives everything that they have and a little bit more to the community and to those in need, it makes you want to do everything in your power to lift that person and to support that person.
Always.
It's just a start, but Rosemary Ray and the Buchanan Foundation hope to rewrite the script for the people who come to her door.
I mean, probably without her really helping me, ain't no telling where I'd be right now today, you know.
So that should be nice and warm. Thank you. Okay.
Magic, it turns out, isn't just in a season.
I love them. I love them.
It's in the hearts of those who make compassion a way of life.
She is a special, special person, and anyone who doesn't get to meet her is without a doubt missing out.
Rosemary is now collecting winter clothing, coats, hats, gloves, etc. If you'd like to help them with that and anything else, we can link you to their website when you go to our website on KSDK.com. And a reminder, if you know someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com. Starting tomorrow, you can go to the mall and the library in just one trip. The St. Charles City County Library is opening a temporary branch inside Mid-Rivers Mall. It's located on the second floor near Dillard's. The temporary library is being set up while the Spencer Road and Middendorf-Kretel branches undergo renovations. Well, as we've been saying throughout this newscast, we're in a weather alert. Weather First meteorologist Gary Frank tracking freezing rain moving in overnight. And now let's talk about that timing, Gary.
Yeah, and I think after 1 or 2 o'clock, we'll start to see some of that fall, which obviously is not the best because it's overnight when you wake up and you get more people on the roadways, as you're going to see plenty of these vehicles that are either prepping or getting ready, salting some of the roadways before that rain. And that's always going to be the issue, right? With snow, we understand that you can put salt down, but with rain, it kind of washes away. So it adds that other little kind of layer that we have to think about. As far as right now, it's 29 degrees, a south-southeast breeze at 11 miles an hour. We did get to freezing today, but our temps are going to hold fairly steady here into the overnight hours. If you just look at your phone radar right now, it almost looks like it's probably starting something at the moment where it's showing snow and rain, but none of this is actually reaching the surface. It's indicative of how it is actually falling a few thousand feet above the surface, but it is evaporating a couple of thousand feet before it reaches, and that's going to saturate the atmosphere ahead of this. And this is a widespread area of freezing rain that we'll see. Like I said, this not so much. It's this area specifically from really anywhere down 49 closer to Joplin. And that's what we'll look at for now. As far as our watches and warnings, we have two sections. One on the Missouri side where you're actually, this is until 6 o'clock. That's your winter weather advisory. And then on the Metro East side, Illinois, until 9 o'clock. It's because of the timing of the colder air. And we always watch out for, typically you look at the air temperature and say, okay, well, what we have at the surface, it's much colder as you go up, right? Well, look at this. 29 degrees our air temperature, 32. It's warmer as we go up. What gives? That's the warm layer of air that creates this freezing rain. And as we talk about after 2 o'clock in the morning, we're still below freezing here. But as this settles in, we may start out with some ice pellets. If you wake up early, you may hear that. But I think it generally transitions to just rain, which you probably won't hear. It's gentle, but overnight by 4, 5, 6 o'clock, you'll see that thin glaze of ice, whether it's on the road, your car, that continues through most of 5, 6, 7 o'clock. Our temp's still below freezing at this point. And as we get into 8 o'clock, the rush hour still freezing rain continues in pockets of heavier freezing rain at times. So tomorrow we'll start out around 30 degrees, most of us still below freezing. That freezing rain continues, but as we get into 2 or 3 o'clock, that's when I think we're going to start to see an opportunity for temps start to come up above freezing. So as that light freezing rain begins, temperatures are mostly below freezing, but it increases during the rush hour before it transitions to rain by the afternoon. I still think it hangs tough on the Metro East side, and that's what we'll watch out for specifically. Ice accumulation, it doesn't really mean much when you look at 0.2 of an inch, and you quantify it and talk about the impacts. Less than 1/4 of an inch with cars and trees glazed over, icy bridges, slick roads. We're looking at somewhere between those two. Tree limbs get heavy, icy roads, minimal power outages. I think overall in the next few days, though, that's our only hurdle. Temps back into the mid-40s and even 50s in some cases, but I think tomorrow morning is going to be a very slow go of it through at least 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'm Paul Cook, and we're on the move. While driving our area roads, nothing can produce a surprise bout of anger quicker than hitting a big car-rattling pothole. All at once, you think of the possible damage to your vehicle or yourself, and then you're kind of having that feeling of that shouldn't be there. I know it. Well, unfortunately, the dreaded pothole season is here, and you guessed it, potholes top about every driver's list of the thing that upsets them the most. Why do we see so many of them? How do road crews fill potholes? What's the best way to report a pothole? And what can you do when a crater in the road damages your car? In fact, 5 on Your Side viewer Jacob Bourne reached out. He recently tangled with a huge pothole on 44 at Bowles in Fenton. He says it popped 3 tires of his and his family's. He says you'd almost have to make an illegal turn to avoid it. As you can imagine, filling potholes across the area is a big job.
Anytime you have such rapid, violent fluctuations in the temperature, that always contributes to the pothole phenomenon. It's unavoidable, it's inevitable.
There are a number of ways to report potholes. You can report them online or by phone. The city of St. Louis even has a pothole tracker where you can check on your requests. The main thing is those potholes won't get fixed if they're not reported. You can find all the information you need at KSDK.com. Paul Cook, 5 on Your Side.
Tragedy tonight on the University of Illinois campus. The investigation into a student found dead out in the cold. Tonight, police are investigating the death of a student at the University of Illinois. 18-year-old Akul Dwan was found dead yesterday on the back porch of a campus building. He was reported missing at around 1:30 a.m. by his roommate. Police believe his death was accidental. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. An icy situation for 2 Maryland Heights firefighters. They safely rescued a person whose car ended up in the middle of a frozen retention pond. This happened early yesterday morning when the wind chill was below 0. There's still no word. We're working on it, but there's still no word on how the car ended up there. It's going to get icy on the roads tomorrow morning. Gary will have the latest on the freezing rain moving in overnight when we come right back.
Well, one last look ahead to what you can expect in the morning. I think after about 1 a.m., we're going to start to see this freezing rain increase. But here's a freeze frame at 7 o'clock. I think overall temperatures below freezing most of the morning. That's going to cause the biggest issue. Icy conditions linger through about 6 o'clock in some areas, particularly in the Metro East. As temperatures gradually go around 32 or above it, that's when things start to improve. But I would expect a slow commute. You're going to have to give yourself a lot of extra time tomorrow in general.
And there you have it, 5 on Your Side at 10. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. They will help you stay safe in the morning. And now here's Corey Miller with Sports Plus.